All right, what's going on, everybody? Today we're gonna cover this past weekend's hoops. Um, this October level hoops we have going on. There's a lot going on in the association. Um, we're gonna cover a few of the top games, the ones that I think are important. But to just get it right off the top, um, we're gonna go over the standings very quickly, just like the top 8 teams in each conference. Um, the Cavaliers are 4-0. The Celtics are 4-0. The Magic are 3-1. The Heat are 2-1. The Bulls are 2-2. The Hawks are 2-2. The Wizards are 1-2, and the Nets are 1-2. A lot that doesn't hold a lot of weight. It's only been a couple games, but I think it's important to document this. Um, Thunder 3-0 on the season. Suns 3-1. Lakers 3-1. Mavs 2-1. Pelicans 2-1. Clippers 2-1, Timberwolves 2-1, and Warriors 2-1. Um, Stephen Curry out with an injury. Um, will be reevaluated in 2 days, I believe. So there's that. Let's talk about some of these top games that went on. The first one I want to look at right here is Clippers Denver. The Clippers beat them behind a 23-point performance from James Harden, 16 assists, um, 5 rebounds. But the man of the game was Norman freaking Powell. 37 points, 7 for 11 from three, 14 for 21 overall from field goal. Um, just shot the sweat off the ball, man. Just went crazy. Zubac also at 24, 4 and 4, or 24, 4 and 15. Pardon me. So he was cooking. Um, yeah, an amazing game for the Clippers. They started off on a good note, on a how do you say, a hot streak. We'll put it as hot streak. Yeah, sure. Use the simplest term. Um, on the other end, the Nuggets. We're gonna talk about them a little bit later, but Aaron Gordon had 10. Michael Porter Jr. had um, 9. Couldn't hit a three. Gordon only hit 1 3 out of 4. Nikola Jokic with 41, 4 and 9. That's 9 rebounds, 4 assists. He was 7 for 12 from three, which is crazy. He was heaving those. 2 for 6 from three. 26 field goal attempts and 14 makes. Jamal Murray had 7 field goal makes and 14 attempts. 3 for 6, 22 points. And Christian Braun, um, 11 points, 1 of 1 from 3. And the talk of the town, not just in Denver, but all over the NBA world right now, is Russell Westbrook, man. Russell Westbrook, 2 points, 0 from 3, 0 of 3 from 3. That's a mouthful. Um, and took 8 shots and had 2 assists and 1 rebound. We're gonna get into him later, but it's not looking good in Denver, and it's like I surmised in a couple of videos ago was Nikola Jokic is gonna have to put up big numbers if everybody around him is gonna be off or on any given night, and they're not gonna give an MVP, but he's gonna have an MVP like season again, and they're not gonna be high in the conference. They're just not. Um, you can't rely on Nikola to do it all the time, and yeah, he's Iron Man. He's played a lot of games. I don't recall him missing any games in particular. Maybe just for rest, for soreness at times. I'd have to really delve into the numbers to look at that, but you can't rely on Jokic to do it all. And we'll cover another game of theirs in a little bit. But shout out to the Clippers, man, starting hot. Um, just looking at their bench, the bench didn't really do much. Chris Dunn had 11, 3 of 5 from three, which is good. He's not particularly known as a 3-point shooter. And the Kevin Porter Jr. experiment. not going well, and Bones Highland hasn't played a minute of basketball yet, to my knowledge. So there's that. Um, the next one we can cover is Sixers Pacers. Um, if it will load here, it's gonna load. It's gonna take a second to load because ESPN loves to not load. Let's see. Come on, you gotta load for me, baby. You gotta load. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's see what it is. Next one we're gonna cover is Philly Pacers. Um, Big game for Tyrese Maxey. The Tyrese Maxey show while Joel Embiid is gone. 45, 4 and 4, 5 for 17 from three. He's just taking them. His percentages are not going to look good at the end of the season, but he's just taking them, which you have to tip your hat to. 14 of 32, not the best. Oh fuck, not the best. But in 48 minutes, I'll give it to him. They pulled the game out too. It was a 4-point win. I'll give it to him. Kelly Oubre at 14, and Caleb Martin with 17. The two guys he brought along tonight. Lowry with 6 in 17 minutes. Two of 3 from three. Andre Drummond 17 boards. Just what you want the team to do really. Eric Gordon off the bench 15, 2 for 7. Really good stuff. Really good stuff from them. Um, Pacers. Um, looking okay. Um, I don't know what the Pacers need. You got all these guys in double digits. You got Halliburton, Nemhard, Turner, Naismith, Siakam. Some of these guys entering the late teens to early 20s. Halliburton with the highest of 22. And you have Obi Toppin at 15. You have TJ McConnell at 10. You have all these guys having really good games, and they didn't shoot the three the best, but well, and they didn't shoot. They didn't get to the cup because Tyree split all of his shots. Nemhard's 3 of 11. Turner's 4 of 11. And Siakam's the only one 7 for 11 who actually had a decent field goal percentage. But and Nemhard, but or Neesmith who really didn't go to the paint though. So um, and you have McConnell who don't shoot, and you have Toppin who don't shoot. So like you really have to make those buckets in the paint um, in order to be a competitive team. Because you're going up against the Sixers, man. I'm not saying the Sixers are bad, but they're bad. They're not great with that Joel Embiid, and these are guys you're gonna. This is a team the Pacers are gonna run into in the conference fight in the conference. Um, whether it be the semis, hell, they might even if these teams are that bad, they might even be in the play-in, and you're gonna have to deal with these guys, and they're gonna have Joel Embiid hopefully, So and Paul George, they don't even have Paul George, so this is your chance to get some punches in on the Sixers, and you just kind of fall short just by 4 points. You make a couple shots at the rim. This is a tie ball game. It goes to overtime. Then you can hang. Or it went to overtime. And you can just you even closer in overtime. I should say. But yeah, it's a little disappointing. Hats off to the Sixers though. For real. Um, Next marquee game on the docket is Celtics Bucks. Celtics are 4-0, one of the few teams that are 4-0, and the Bucks are 1-3. A typical Doc Rivers job. Uh, Masterclass from Doc Rivers. Absolute freaking masterclass from Doc Rivers. Um, let's start with the reigning champs though. Like the Pacers we talked about last game. They have a bunch of guys in double digits. They got Tatum with 15. They got Horford with 10. Holiday with 21. White with 13. Brown with 30. Peyton Pritchard almost matching Jaylen Brown with 28. I mean, And this wasn't their best 3 point shooting game. Derek White took 10 of them things and only made three. Tatum took eight, only made one. Um, but it looks like they got to the cup, man, and that's kind of discouraging. When Peyton Pritchard made 8 of 12, though, it's kind of discouraging when you think about the Bucks. You think about them having at least an on par defense. You know, you have guys like obviously Giannis. You have guys like Brook Lopez, who isn't what he used to be, but he's still very good. You have a guy like Bobby Portis who's switchable in those moments when you need him to be for a team like this when they are running a smaller Al Horford, where they are going to roll out Xavier Tillman, or Luke Cornett, who necessarily isn't a bruiser down low. So Bobby Portis does have to cover him on out the perimeter, but they didn't do that. They did not do that. Giannis had to put up 30 and 10, 14 of 26 in 39 minutes, and they got blown out by 10. I shouldn't say blown out. They got handled. They got manhandled by 10 points by the end. He took two threes, didn't make any. Prince, an offseason acquisition that everybody thought was pretty decent against a top tier team. He disappeared. 1 of 3 from three, 3 points. He made 1 3 and said, "Yeah, I'm done for the night. I'm gonna go home." Like what? Brook Lopez, 13 and 6. You'd like to see him to get a few more boards, especially since it's just Al Horford out there. And I know the Celtics they get these loose boards. They get the long boards that go out, and Drew Holiday handles them. Derek White handles them. Obviously, Jalen and Jason pick them up when they're near him, when the ball is near them. But and Dame at 33, 2 of 28, 7 of 15, which isn't bad, which isn't terrible. You'd probably take that. Hope in most cases, hopefully in a winning effort, but you didn't win. You didn't. And I'll give him credit. He's not, sometimes he looks so. Sometimes last season he looked very washed. This season, from my knowledge, he hasn't looked that washed. He's been playing good. He's obviously the big story's been he's in shape this season. Um, but Dame, you need. I shouldn't. I shouldn't say this, but I will. Dame needs to do a little bit more as a number two. When you see Giannis isn't really, he missed half of his shots. You kind of need to do a little more. And I know it's Drew Holiday. I know it's Derek White. I know it's if you really get hot, they'll probably throw Jalen Brown on you. It's gonna be hard, but you need to do a little more. You need to do a little more. Uh, and you could say that just for the whole team, maybe not just. I just won't put it all on Dame. Um, Gary Trent, 10 points, 2 of 6 from three, 3 of 8 from field goal in 37 minutes. He obviously wasn't he wasn't guarding Jalen Brown. If that was his assignment, he did not do a good job. Him or Torian Prince or Torian Prince, Prince. We'll just say Prince. There's been a bunch of princes in the league. The Bucks bench just didn't show up. Didn't show up, and they don't really have a bench. They haven't really. They have looking at the numbers here. They haven't played their bench like that, and I get some of these guys are young. But you played Bobby Portis, you played Pat Connaughton, you played DeLon Wright, and you played Andre Jackson, who I believe is a rookie. Um, None of these names stand out to me. None of them do. So, hats off to the reigning champs, beating a good team. I don't know. Starting off 1-3, maybe you're not a good team. Maybe you're not. But we'll see. We shall see. We shall see. All right. We will eventually get to the guy in the picture you've been staring at for what is it? This is gonna be like a 20-minute video. Um, but I do want to cover these other games very quickly. Um, yeah, we got two more games, and then we'll get to Pacers, Magic. Um, let's see. Next game, Cleveland Knicks. The Knicks are 1-2 on the season, not looking good. I'll give them some leeway because they're trying to integrate Cat. They're try to operate without Dante DiVincenzo. I'll give him a little bit of grace. Um, what the fuck? Oh boy, ESPN. There we go. Box score. Thank you. Um, yeah, they started Dean Wade. That's kind of embarrassing. Not to say Dean Wade's a bad player, but he made one. He had 1 point on the game, and he started. Um. Anyways, Cavs 110, Knicks 104. Um. The Cleveland came to play, man. Evan Mobley with 17, Jared Allen with his double double, 15 by 15. Darius Garland 35, Donovan Mitchell 25. They both attempted 8 threes. Darius made 5, Donovan made 3, Dean Wade didn't make any. Um, and their bench didn't really give a lot, but they didn't need a lot. Uh, but and then you got the the Knicks, who surprisingly all their starters played well. Josh Hart even had 16, 13 boards. Jalen Brunson 21, didn't make a three. Karl Anthony Towns 13 points, almost 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 or 2 from three. You probably want him to take more since it's Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, especially if Jared Allen's on him. You want him to bring him out of the paint. Um, doesn't look like that happened. OG Anunoby, 15 points, 1 of 4 from three. Miles Bridges, 19. Miles Bridges, Jesus. Mikal Bridges, 19 points, 1 of 4 from three in 40 minutes. At least he scored a little bit. Maybe his jumper isn't completely broken. Like I said, I'll give this team some leeway. Is it the start you thought you were gonna get? Probably not. Would you have liked to start 3-0? Yes. But the Eastern Conference ain't no joke, man. It ain't no joke this year. It ain't no joke, especially if you got guys like Paolo ascending. You have guys like Tyrese Halliburton descending a little bit. You have teams like the Sixers who are gonna fall without Joel when he doesn't play. Um, and they might end up in the plane, and they might end up as a 7 and 8 seed, and they might not even be a true 7 or 8 seed. And you're gonna have to go up against them in the first round. Now that might be the Celtics, the Magic, the Cavs, who might be able to handle the Sixers, but it's gonna be all wonky this year. Um, that's all I have to say about this game, man. Nothing magical. Cavs handle business. Let's get rid of some of these games I've pulled up here. Um, and now we're going to talk about the Nuggets a little bit. We're going to cover their most recent game against the Toronto Raptors. You just got to give me a second here. Again, back-to-back double-double performances for Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray at 17. Aaron Gordon with 16. The Nuggets did win 127 to 125 against the Raptors, who I'm not saying you shouldn't be proud of a win, but the Raptors are bad. And I mean, you should beat the bad teams, but I don't know. It's not a feel good win. It's just like, here you go win, you know? Um, their bench, again, nobody showed up. I mean, Strawther almost had 10 points. Westbrook almost had 10 points, but 3 for 7 from Russ. 0 of 1 from Russ. Um, Meanwhile, you got guys on the Raptors. Scotty with 21, Pirtle with 16, Mitchell with 16, RJ with 20, Grady Dick with 15. I mean, like, and Oshai Abaji with 15. Like, this isn't a Raptors team that anybody that their names really pop out besides Scotty. Quickly didn't even play this game. I just realized that Quickly didn't even play. So you almost lost to a team without Emmanuel Quickly. That's crazy. He's one of their big ticket guys. That's crazy. I mean, you got Scotty and you got Quickly and you got RJ, and you almost lost to them. Meanwhile, you have a three-time MVP and you have a would-be All-Star in Jamal Murray and a past MVP in Russell Westbrook, who we'll talk about now. There's some discourse on the internet that they should cut Russ, they should waive him, and he should retire. Do I believe that? No. I think I think this team is poorly constructed, and I think they're locked into it. And I think bringing Russ into the situation is it's not even Russ's fault. But the book on him is you bring him into your team. He's gonna be high energy. It's gonna be different this time. It's gonna be different this time. It's gonna be different this time. It's never different. I've said this before. Russ, I'll give Russ credit. He's changed. He has changed. But when you change, you need to not just say it. You need to show it, right? And there are certain things that he can still do at a high level. When he was with the Clippers, at times he played great defense because he still had a little bit of athleticism. He has the size. He has the build, right? But he really can't do anything else. And when he isn't in the game and doesn't have a flow, his passes are bad. His drives to the baskets and dish outs become even worse because he isn't playing with the starters. He's playing with the bench. So when he kicks it out, he's dishing it out to Peyton Watson, who doesn't shoot threes. You're kicking it out to Julian Strother, who made his threes, but you're kicking it out to Dario Saric. You're dumping it down, trying to do the Steven Adams, dump off. And this Dario Saric is just not the same. And should he retire? No. I I I don't think they should waive him. I don't think he should retire. This is gonna sound so bad. They're gonna have to trade him. They're gonna have to get something for him because his minutes, he's taking up 18 to 20 minutes a game. That could be used for somebody actually that can play in a basketball game for a championship team. And Russ's brand of basketball has never been championship conducive. It's never been. It just hasn't. It's never been like that. And you can't have a guy like Russ when Porter's having a down year, when Murray's having an iffy year, and you just can't have that on the team. And I hate to just dump on Russ because it's not cool. It's actually not cool to do that. But the way he plays, you, you can't have him be on a championship team. You just can't. You just can't. You just can't. His best seasons on bad teams. Is it a coincidence? It's up to you to decide. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think when he's been at his best, he's been on bad teams, just putting up numbers, and it's the cycle. Russ plays on a good team, he plays bad, or he plays good. He gets traded to a bad team for whatever, young players. He's on the bad team, puts up good numbers, gets traded to a good team, plays bad, goes to a bad team, plays good, goes to a good team, plays bad. It's the cycle, man. He's been on so many teams, and I said this years ago. I said this to a friend of mine. I said he's this is when he got traded to the Rockets, and I was like, isn't it's not gonna last with the Rockets? One, but two, he's gonna be on this Allen Iverson stuff at the end of his career. You watch. You know what happened to Allen Iverson? Played for the Sixers, right? Played for the Nuggets, right? Played for the Grizzlies, right? Played for the Pistons, right? And then went back to Philly. And then you know what happened? He ended his career. That's just what happened, man. And I think Russ is on that trajectory, and I think Russ will never retire like that. I think he'll try to retire on good terms, at least like have made a finals again. But at this rate, I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. And that's that for the Nuggets. Now for the marquee game that happened last night. Um, the young gun Paulo, I can never say his last name. We're just gonna call him Paulo. Paulo just putting the Magic on his back and just wheeling and dealing, doing it all. The Magic won 119 to 115. Um, I just watched the highlights of this one. I didn't actually catch the game. And what he was doing was amazing. He had 50 points, 9 assists, 13 rebounds, almost a triple double. Um, Missed half his shots, but it didn't matter. In the fashion he was getting them was ridiculous. He was 3 for 9. His teammate Jalen Suggs, 25, 6 for 13, 8 for 17 overall. Um, Paulo was doing his thing, man. This is what this is one of those guys where you look at the draft like comparisons and stuff, and you say, "Wow, these guys were spot on with this guy. This kid's incredible. The passes he was making, the effort he was giving on the boards, and the way he was scoring in the paint, in the mid range, at the 3 point line. Um, Amazing stuff. Um, Wendell had 11 and 10 double double. Franz not the best night for him, 7 1 and 1. His brother Mo Wagner 14 and 4, made 1 3. Um, yeah, he had himself a night. Congrats to him, new career high. And yeah, it, I, I don't want to say this, but I will. This is what you thought. This is like what you thought like Blake Griffin would be right before he got to the Pistons and got injured again. This is what he would have looked like. Now Paulo's a little bit different. He's a little more stout. He's a little more built than Blake. But man, the stuff I saw, I was like, this is like shades of Blake Griffin, like prime Blake Griffin. I'm talking like right before he got traded to the Pistons, Blake Griffin, before he got injured, before he was washed, right? And even I wouldn't even say when Blake was on the Pistons because it was just one series for Blake where he was really really good for them, and brought them to the playoffs, and I think they won a game. Nevertheless, I don't want to compare Paulo to anybody. Paulo's obviously unique in what he does, but it's just it's incredible to watch, man. I wish I would have watched this live. He's a guy. He is a guy. He is a man. And I think the conversations. This is obviously post Olympics, about him being on the team. I think he needs to be on the team. I think he can be one of those guys. I think if Katie's not going to do it and if Steph's not going to do it, you need a guy who can get you a bucket. Not saying NBA and FIBA are the same, but obviously, if you score 50 in any basketball game at any like professional level, I think you're pretty decent, and you could probably at least get 20. you know, um, Pacers falling again to another Eastern Conference team. Um, Siakam with 26. Paolo was cooking Siakam. Almost had a double double. Neesmith 10 wasn't big enough to handle Paolo. No diddy. Turner was getting denied by Paolo. I'm glazing the hell out of him. I'm sorry. This sounds crazy. This sounds ayo. Um, Miles Turner with 13, Nemhard with 13, and Halliburton 6 for 15, 4 9. Almost had a triple double himself. He was a rebound short. 10 assists, 19 points. Topping with 14. Um, yeah, this Pacers team, is looking like a bottom feeder. They're looking like a playing team. I don't know what trade you make. I don't know if there is a trade. I don't know if it's just like I said earlier, the East is hard, but they need to do something. They need to shuffle the deck. They need to start Benedict Mathurin. Maybe that would be a good idea. I don't know why Rick Carlisle isn't starting Mathurin, um, but maybe he has star. I don't know, but he Mathurin should be like a permanent starter. Like I get he's streaky sometimes, but like bro, like I don't need Neesmith and Nemhard. I don't need both of them. They're gonna combine for 23 points. Big whoopee. Like what? No, I'm good. I'm good off that, man. I'm good. Um, but yeah, that is the NBA weekend wrap up from me. Um, Tonight's games. I'll give you my predictions for tonight's games because it is Tuesday, the 29th, Halloween week. Um, Let me give you my predictions for tonight. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? We got oh, okay, yes. Mavs and Timberwolves and Pelicans and Warriors. Two great games. Would have been a little bit better if the Warriors had Steph, but we'll see what the Warriors can do without him. Probably won't be good. But the one I'll be really locked into is Mavs and Timberwolves. Um, that's gonna be a great game. That's gonna be a really good game. Um, I think. Oh man, I don't like betting against Luca or Kyrie. Oh, mm, mm, now I gotta take the Mavs. I was gonna say Timberwolves, but I gotta take the Mavs, and I'll do the homer pick, and I'll take the Warriors against the Pelicans, even without Steph. And that is the wrap up. Um, Hope you guys enjoyed. If you've watched this far, please consider subscribing and consider liking the video. Um, there's gonna be a lot of content eventually, but I feel like these wrap ups, these overviews, these reviews of like a game the night before, games tomorrow, or the weekend wrap up like I did just now, is good. It's a good stepping stone to really get my feet wet, really get comfortable talking, and yeah, we'll continue doing this stuff, man. Uh, yeah, I will be right back here, same time, same place tomorrow. Cheers, guys.